Who will take the fall for Snow White's looming box office disaster as ticket sales nosedive? Hollywood is in full-blown panic mode. Was it the casting? Did the story fail to connect with audiences? And most importantly, who will be held responsible? EDC? Let's break it all down. The backlash against Disney has been simmering for months, with frustrated fans vowing to boycott the studio. Now, as Snow White struggles at the box office, critics and insiders alike are calling it dead on arrival. The warning signs were impossible to ignore. The UK premiere was quietly cancelled over fears of negative press, and lead actress Rachel. Zegler's past controversial remarks have continued to cast a shadow over the film. Now, in a desperate bid to regain control of the narrative, Disney is clamping down on press coverage, only adding fuel to the fire. Hollywood is watching, and the backlash is coming from the very people Disney should have been working with from the start. Instead of addressing concerns head-on, the studio is opting for corporate damage control, limiting media access, and shutting out tough questions. As a result, journalists have been divided into two camps: those who insist the controversy is overblown, and those growing increasingly resentful about being sidelined. One thing is clear: Disney's Snow White isn't just struggling at the box office. It's becoming a case study in what happens when a studio misreads its audience and mishandles controversy. BJ Meir blames external factors for the film's struggles, while others within the industry feel betrayed by a studio that once thrived. On audience support, one of Disney's most baffling decisions was the use of CGI for the Seven Dwarfs instead of casting talented dwarf actors, of which there are plenty. Instead, they opted for digital replacements, a move that was widely criticized. Many saw it as a slap in the face to actors who could have brought authenticity to the roles. Rather than expanding representation, critics argued that Disney's choice actually reduced it, making this feel like a step backward rather than progress. This controversy only added fuel to the fire, reinforcing the perception that Disney was making decisions that alienated its core audience. And Disney's defensive response to the backlash? That raised even more eyebrows. Canceling the London premiere while proceeding with a tightly controlled Hollywood event sent a clear message. No red carpet press, no tough questions for Rachel Zegler or Gal Gadot, no room for controversy. Their official excuse? They wanted a more family-friendly and celebratory event to match the movie's tone. But if that were true, wouldn't a casual, laid-back premiere make more sense? Instead, a high-profile Hollywood event, complete with strict media control, feels like the exact opposite of that. Now, Snow White is heading toward a full-blown box office disaster, and the biggest question remains: panic is setting in across Hollywood. Was it the casting? The story? Did the film fail to connect with fans? One thing is certain: Disney is scrambling for damage control, but at this point, the damage may already be done. The writing has been on the wall for months, and now, as Snow White 2025 approaches its release, critics and industry insiders alike are branding it dead on arrival. The warning signs were impossible to ignore. From the cancellation of its UK premiere, reportedly due to fears of negative press, to the way lead actress Rachel Zegler's past controversial comments continue to overshadow the film's release, Disney, seemingly aware of the looming disaster, is going into full damage control mode, tightening its grip on press coverage in a way that only fuels speculation that they know the movie is in deep trouble. The only recent Hollywood comparison to such a media lockdown was the handling of The Flash, a film burdened by Ezra Miller's criminal allegations. Yet Disney wants the public to believe this situation is totally normal. While some media outlets are at least being honest about the situation, others are working overtime to shift the blame. The Hollywood Reporter has openly called Disney out for shutting down press access, acknowledging the obvious: Disney is desperately trying to control the conversation. Variety, on the other hand, has taken a more defensive approach, seemingly shifting responsibility onto Rachel Zegler and even Gal Gadot, the latter of whom has barely spoken about the film at all. The irony? The same outlets that claim Zegler is simply facing social media backlash then proceed to spend entire articles detailing the long list of controversies she's been involved in. The inconsistency in media coverage is staggering, and audiences aren't buying it. As the box office numbers for Snow White inevitably fall short of expectations, the big question now is, who will take the fall? Was it the casting? Did Disney underestimate the backlash to its modernized version of a classic story? Did the story fail to connect with fans? Were audiences alienated by the drastic departure from the original? Will Zegler be the scapegoat? Or will the blame be pushed onto Disney's leadership? Whatever happens, panic is already setting in across Hollywood. Disney has spent months facing boycotts, criticism, and widespread disappointment from fans. Yet, instead of course correcting, they doubled down. And now they may be forced to pay the price. The fallout from Snow White could extend far beyond just one film. This entire PR disaster is exposing deep flaws in how modern Hollywood operates. The declining trust in actors. Studios are now afraid to let their stars speak freely, knowing one bad comment can destroy a movie before it even releases. The overuse of nostalgia baiting. Instead of crafting fresh, innovative stories, studios rely on remakes and reboots, but audiences are no longer blindly accepting them. The widening gap between fans and filmmakers, Hollywood's refusal to listen to genuine audience concerns has only widened the divide, and Snow White is a prime example of this growing disconnect. With every passing day, it's becoming clearer. Disney's reliance on live-action remakes may be running out of steam. If Snow White bombs as predicted, it could force the studio to rethink its entire approach to these projects. So, what do you think? Is Disney's handling of Snow White a disaster, or is there still hope for the film? Who do you think will take the blame if it flops? But now, Disney is in full-on damage control mode, scrambling to shift blame onto Rachel Zegler and even Gal Gadot, who, let's be honest, has barely said anything about the film. Instead of owning up to the situation, they're desperately trying to rewrite the narrative, hoping to salvage what little faith remains in Snow White. Meanwhile, Mark Malkin, one of the most intriguing Hollywood journalists, continues to prove just how easily actors can be led into saying things they probably shouldn't. His overly friendly approach makes them drop their guard, revealing more than they likely intended, something that's becoming a common trend in entertainment journalism these days. Officially, Disney claims they're handling the film's rollout as a family-friendly event. But let's be real, if they truly had confidence in Snow White, they wouldn't be hiding Zegler away. Instead of giving her a chance to clear the air, they're keeping her as far away from the press as possible, which speaks volumes about their lack of faith in the film. A movie as big as Snow White should be everywhere in the media right now, with stars promoting it non-stop. But instead, Disney's radio silence is only making things worse. The message is loud and clear. They're bracing for a disaster. The media's coverage of this mess has been wildly inconsistent. One moment, they claim this is just a unique PR strategy due to Zegler's and Gadot's controversies. The next, they're blaming toxic fans, a phrase often used to discredit anyone who doesn't blindly support their narrative. And of course, they couldn't resist playing the race card, suggesting that people dislike Zegler simply because she's Latina, conveniently ignoring the very real controversies surrounding her attitude, statements, and treatment of the original story. Disney hasn't completely shut down marketing, but they're being extremely selective about where and how they promote the film. Zegler was shipped off to Tokyo, far from American media scrutiny. The Spanish premiere, instead of a major global press event, it was hidden away in a remote castle. Meanwhile, the media is so desperate for anything positive that they swooned over a simple Instagram video of Zegler in a white dress, because that's all they had. Disney didn't even invite journalists to these events, signaling just how little trust they have in their own actors to speak freely. This entire situation exposes a major shift in Hollywood. Studios no longer trust their stars to handle press, tours, fearing how disastrous their unscripted moments can be. And now, the question is, will journalists start censoring themselves just to maintain access? Because in Hollywood, access has always come with strings attached, and those strings are getting tighter than ever. Is Disney's strategy a sign of a failing movie, or is this just modern PR in action? Do you think Zegler is being unfairly blamed, or is Disney just trying to save itself from a disaster of its own making?